Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, today I will read a story from 366 Fairy Tales book written by Bernardson. This video was made to fulfill English final exam. I am Okka Chandra from Pelita Bangsa University, and the story begins. The Sleeping Beauty. There was much rejoicing throughout the kingdom on the day that a beautiful baby daughter was born to the king and queen. At court, a magnificent banquet was held for the official presentation of the little princess to the people, and all the most important and powerful lords and ladies were invited, including the fairies, of which great number lived in that happy land. On the sad day, all the fairies come to the castle, with the exception of one, the black fairy, and no one could understand why she had not accepted the invitation. They were later to learn that the invitation had unfortunately been lost, but the black fairy was convinced that she had been deliberately ignored. She was very offended, so she decided to take revenge. The fairies all lined up by the newborn baby cradle, and one by one, with a touch of their magic wands, they each gave her a virtue. One fairy gave her beauty, one kindness, one intelligence, and another gentleness. There were so many good fairies that the last in the line hesitated for a moment, not being able to think of a virtue that had not already been donated by her friends. While the last fairy was thinking about what present to give, the black fairy burst into the hall, stalked up to the cradle, and pointed her wand threateningly at the baby girl. "I cannot take away what my sister have already given you," she said in a voice that trembled with rage. "But I can make sure that you only enjoy it for a few years. When you have grown into a beautiful young woman, you will be pricked by a spindle and will die." With this, the black fairy disappeared, leaving everyone shocked and dismayed. "Please save my daughter from this terrible spell," the queen begged the good fairies. But they had already used up their magic power to give their present to the baby. Only the last fairy had not yet used her magic, but her power was not strong enough to undo entirely the spell of the black fairy. "All I can do," she explained, "is to cast a spell which will mean that when she is pricked by the spindle, she will not die, but instead will fall into a deep sleep for 100 years. Although this was better than that for the princess, nonetheless the king was much distressed. In an attempt to keep the child safe, he used this right. All spindles in the entire kingdom must be destroyed. It is my command that the princess must never leave the royal castle and must be guarded day and night. Everything possible must be done to make sure that the evil spell does not come to pass." But no man, even if he is a king, can match the power and cunning of a cruel and wicked sorceress. The king's orders were followed to the letter, and the princess became a lovely young girl of 15, full of all the extraordinary virtue that had been granted her. The only virtue that she did not possess, that which the last fairy did not have time to give her before the arrival of her witch sister was lack of curiosity, and to tell the truth, the young girl was as inquisitive as a magpie. She had passed all her years shut up in her room, so she was burning to find out what was in the rest of the castle. One day, her guards were destroyed for a moment, and the princess immediately took advantage of the opportunity to escape. She wandered round all the rooms of the castle, in the cellar and the attic, until she reached a high tower hidden amongst the trees. Inside it was the Black Fairy, now grown old. She was busy weaving on a loom. It was very easy for her to time the young girl in by showing her the golden spindle with which she was weaving, and then when the princess came close enough, the evil fairy pricked her with it. Immediately the spell took effect, but thanks to the spell of the less good fairy, the young girl fell to the ground, not dead but deeply sleeping. But what took place then had not been foreseen by the good fairies. Along with the princess, all the other people and animals in the huge castle fell into a deep, deep sleep. 100 years later, an adventurous young princess was riding through the woods when he found his way blocked by a thick barrier of thorns. He took out his sword and cut himself a path until, to his great surprise, he found himself at the gates of a castle. When he entered, he found everyone fast asleep, sentries and countries, dogs and horses, even the king and queen side by side on their thrones. From room to room the prince wandered until he came to the tower where the sleeping princess lay. He was filled with grief at the terrible fate which had befallen such a beautiful young girl. He fell on his knees beside her and gave her a gentle kiss on her forehead. That kiss broke the spell that bound the princess, and she awoke. And the whole castle woke up. What a moment of joy it was when the king and queen were reunited with their daughter. The festivities, which include the wedding of the princess to her rescuers, lasts for 3 months. In fact, it is not certain that they are over yet. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.